Welcome to Overtime the Podcast, a show dedicated to all things watches, with a special love for Microbrands and their affordable range. I'm your host Praka, and some of you might know me as Kinda Average Watches. Join me as we explore new releases, share tips on building your collection, and put in some overtime with hands-on reviews of the latest watches. Whether you're a bit of a pro or you're just getting into the hobby, this podcast will keep you entertained with great stories from the people in the industry, casual conversations, and guest hosts who bring their own unique perspectives. Let's get started. Welcome to Overtime the Podcast, proudly sponsored by Watchpoint. James, how you going?
I'm very, very well. Yourself?
I'm okay. I've got a bit of a dust allergy. I know it's probably the lamest allergy to have, but there's been a lot of dust around my house today. We had some work done, adding in new conduits and wall plugs and the like, a bit of electrician work, and anyway, it's just dust everywhere at the moment, and I'm a bit so I apologize if I sound a bit blocked up,
Nasally?
bit nasally, but I think it adds to the deep effects sound effect.
It works to a podcast voice. I've actually had a bit of dust around myself. I've been doing a bit of home maintenance and built a new TV cabinet to have my brand new TV mounted onto the wall type thing.
Nice.
I've been busy making a mess, and my wife has been running around cleaning up after me.
Yeah, not even finished yet. Did you end up getting that TV mounted?
It's done now. It's up against the wall. I've put it where I got it. I had my brother come over today to help me lift the TV because it's too big. I can't do it by myself. So it's one job that is now completed, and it's okay. It's good enough. It's actually probably slightly better than I expected, but probably slightly not as good as I hoped.
Okay. Yep.
Does that make sense?
No, yeah, sure. Sometimes, good enough is enough, depending on.
I do live by the whole close enough is good enough sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it's what do they call it? As you reach the percent of the amount of effort, if it's is it a linear scale or is it a logarithmic scale? If it's like, it's going to be a lot harder to get to the 100%, or, you're at 90% and you're like, man, that's pretty good already. Sometimes depending on what it is, that'll do.
I was always very happy with a good high, like C+. I'm more than happy with that.
But we don't like to do things in half measures here. So before we carry on with today's episode, what have you got on your wrist?
Well, I seem to be doing this double wrist thing, so I thought I'd continue that tonight. On my left, I've got my Hamilton Jazzmaster Traveller 2 GMT, which is one of my favourite watches in my collection that I've had for quite a few years now, and it's one that will be remaining for many more years. And on my right is my Erebus Ascent Black Helix, which is another watch which I absolutely adore and really like, and put on today because I've been having some time with their new release, and I thought, I should put my Erebus on because it's a watch that I enjoy wearing. What about yourself? What are you wearing?
I am actually wearing a one loaned from yourself. The Farasute. What do you call this? The Farasute.
I've been calling it the dress ETA because it's a sort of that dressy watch, but it's got the ETA movement in it.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous watch.
We got matching straps because they both have that Hamilton strap.
Yes, this is the famed Hamilton strap that James absolutely loves. So I'm going to try and get focus on the movement, but right now I'm just getting focus on the strap itself. Anyway, it shows you how much there you go. Beautiful, beautiful movement. Just gorgeous. Strap is also the famous ostrich strap from Hamilton that James absolutely loves. And I can see it. I can see why he loves it. And I did tell him, he did ask me last time about this. He said, what do you reckon? I'm I like a bit of taper in my leather kind of guy. But I can definitely see why you like this. And it is very good quality as well. So can't complain.
Nice clasps on them as well. They're just very cool.
Yeah.
I like how they've integrated the logo into the shape of it too.
Yeah, the Hamilton
straps in ways.
Farasute. I will find the actual name of this Farasute so I can put a link in the show notes. So, people can go and feed their addiction. Speaking of addiction, that's what this whole episode Sort of, not really. It talks a little bit about it. So you would have read the title, everyone that's listening. I don't even know if I'm quite set on the title, but for now, the placeholder title is it's called
Praka Maybe Buy a Watch, I think it's called. Yep.
Oh, it's called the Scarcity Trap. So why you can't stop buying watch drops. Okay. Drop culture, right? Sneakers, watches, bags, what do you want to call it? Luxury products. I mean, they're everywhere. It's everywhere. Drop culture is everywhere. You know, something's get released. You got to line up in Foot Locker to go and buy this. I mean, it's been around for a couple of years now. Why does our heart rate spike? You know, when a countdown for a new release is going towards zero. Like, I don't know whether this, we'll obviously get into the episode and we'll be talking about our experiences as well. But we thought it'd be a good episode to explore. Let's think about the behavioural economics of these limited runs. You know, why is it more addictive when it's these limited runs and these drops? And also, why is it more satisfying to jump on and try and get one than actually receiving the watch itself and then going, this is exactly what I want. So anyway, with that in mind, we thought we'll start off and talk about scarcity. So what is scarcity? I mean, the scarcity trap, when we talk about watches.
It's that fear of missing out type section in the brain, isn't it? And it's what I think companies are definitely leaning into sometimes. But I think also there's other reasons why they some do it depending on the company, but definitely when you think you might miss out, if there's any of that sort of gap in your ideas of whether you want something or not, that kind of gives you that extra nudge, doesn't it?
Definitely. I think, there's this thing called the amygdala, which is, I've heard of it before. And that's it up there somewhere. I'm I'm an engineer. I don't know a lot about the human body as much, but what I know so much and what I've looked at is that it's your fight or flight response area. It's your primal brain. So the psychology behind it, or the science behind it, is that when we're seeing these clocks run down on these limited releases, right? You've got, let's say a watch gets released and you've got 48 hours to grab your watch, and that's it. After that, no more. You want that studio underdog, you can buy it in 48 hours. After that, no more. We're not selling this anymore. Your brain then doesn't really see it as a watch, right? You almost just see it as I don't know, like food or water or something. It's like, oh, I need this. It's going away. I need to get it. Automatically, you're just, I don't know, I wouldn't say conditioned to, but it's almost like your mind's like, you need this because it's going to go away. It's going to go away. You better get it. FOMO is how I think it's sort of talked about more widely, but I think it doesn't really have to be a fear of missing out. I feel like any of these things can be linked to this, this is running out, so I really need to go and get it, per se. But, and this happens not just in Microbrands, right? It happens in sort of bigger brands too. But for me, I feel like in the microbrand space and the independent space, you see more of this than the bigger brands.
Do you think it's a sales tactic because they're trying to link into that? Or do you think they're also going, we don't want to hold a lot of stock, so this is a way of selling a certain amount and they can know how to budget for that from a smaller company perspective? Or a bit of both?
I think it's a bit of both.
I think it's a bit of both, yeah.
I think it's a bit of both. It offsets a lot. I think it offsets a certain level of risk if you know this is the amount that you sort of budget for, that you be comfortable that you need to hit this much units sold, and that's going to fund your production run, and that's going to make you enough money to then maybe do another production run, or maybe go on to the next SKU, the next model. But in saying that, a lot of brands use that model because it's effective. Like, let's not kid around it. People don't want to lose out. People want to jump on it. I mean, let's talk about what I spoke to you about a couple of days ago, when a new brand that James introduced to myself, and we will be having them on the podcast soon enough, mentioned that, hey, yeah, we're going to be opening up pre-orders. So, yep, and it's a limited number. And if you'd like one, let us know. Almost immediately, my mind ran, oh, hang on. Well, I do want one. I really do like it. But I was going to wait till James had it in hand first for his video before I make a decision. And I went, oh, I need to make this decision now, don't I? But I don't know what color to get. Oh, maybe I should pick this color. I was spiraling, and I did message James.
I know the exact feeling you're having as well. That's what's funny about it.
Eventually, I spoke to the brand owner. I said, I'm keen, but here are my thoughts. I would like to see it in person, blah, blah, blah. And you mentioned there's this much number. Is that the only number that you're making? And he said, no. That's just my initial sort of run. And if we sell more, then I'll make more. I'm like, oh, phew. And almost immediately I felt a bit of a nice wave of okay, I'm all right now. I'm okay. I can come back to this.
You can have a breather and you can go and sell a couple of watches first.
Exactly. And that happens, doesn't it? It happens a lot. And that, again, one thing that's quite linked closely to scarcity, I feel, is loss aversion. So loss aversion is a cognitive bias where the emotional impact of a loss is felt more intensely than the joy of an equivalent gain. What does that mean to you?
It means it's going to hurt more to lose rather than be happy to obtain. And it's funny because when I think about it from a watch perspective especially, I know that there'll always be something else. I know that just because it's limited, for me, that's not a positive. But it still then makes me want certain things. And having a time limit on it certainly does push me towards things. But I know, and I sort of tend to think of in the past how many times I've then not gone and bought that thing. And then the next day or a week later, I'm perfectly okay. And that's what I try to then come back on. And I do the occasional when I see pictures of somebody who's just received that watch, that thought of, I should have bought that, especially when there was a price sort of related, like your Angles watch, which you got. That was a watch that I was really paying attention to. And then when you said you got yours and then the price and, and thinking about that, it's Kickstarter kind of uses this idea as well, doesn't it? Because there's generally not limited numbers, but it's a limited time frame. And then they use the whole, but if you get in early, there's early bird pricing. So you better be the first one or the second one so that you get it cheaper. And then it links into your budget brain, which is definitely present for me.
Yeah. And sometimes, the thought of missing out just drives us to make these $500, $1,000 decisions like this, right? And I'll be honest, putting it out there, the Angles, when the purchase decision was made, and there's a funny story behind it. I won't go into it right now on how it all made. Go to the Instagram and you'll see it. Lead up to it, I was very much this is so cool. It reminds me of some Horology stuff. Look at the price point you can get it for, under $500 US. Well under $500 US. I think it was something like 500, just over 500 Aussie dollars. And it's such a good value for what it is, or doing all this mental gymnastics to try and make things fit and work. And the thing is, there was a countdown. There was an early bird special in the Kickstarter. If we get this, okay, let's do it. Let's get it. When I got the watch, by the time I got the watch, there was a bit of a wait, right?
How were you feeling in the wait period? Did you go, yes, I made a good decision, or did you start questioning your decision?
I started questioning my decision, if I'm being honest. I thought to myself, whilst this is such a cool watch, and whilst it's just in my mind, I went, I'm not going to be able to get this type of watch for the price that I got it for. It's cool. It's open work. It's, very Otsuka low-tech, right? It felt very steampunk, but not at that kind of prices. So I thought, this is cool. I have to try it. And that was only my second Kickstarter purchase as well. So I figured, got to give it a go. But then I thought, oh man, that's pretty big. It's 49 mil lug to lug, almost 50 mil lug to lug. That's a big watch. Oh man, can I pull that off? Oh, I don't know. Would I even wear this often? Man, the time looks pretty hard to read. And then I started questioning everything about it. And I went, oh man. But thankfully, when I got it, I sort of went, you know what? I heard about stuff that, the finishing is not as good and blah, blah, blah. People have got their stuff. But I sort of made peace with myself being well, what I get is what I get. And I'm sure I'll enjoy it for what it is. And needless to say, I did. when it came in, my expectations wasn't super high already. I lowered my expectations, and I'm glad I did that because now I'm enjoying it for what it is. So maybe not quite I didn't expect joy to match the same feeling. It certainly didn't. Definitely not. The hunt or the chase or the loss aversion was definitely a higher than getting the actual watch itself. I think that happens a lot of times, but this one was the quite more recent event. What about yourself? I mean, here I'm talking about a Kickstarter story here, but it also happens in like, I don't know, even forum sales, right?
Yeah, I've got two stories of secondhand watches. One of them's actually from today, and it's all your fault, and it's from the same brand, that Angles watch. So Praka today, he knows that I'm going down this weird watch sub-rabbit hole of odd-looking watches for some reason, and it does. It seems to be grabbing hold of me. But he sent me this link to a marketplace was it from Marketplace, or was it one of the sales groups on Marketplace type thing? And it's one of these driver's style 70s kind of retro watches that sort of you read the time from the sort of the front of it, and then it has and then it wraps around your wrist a little bit, and it has that small display on the front, not on the sort of directly down, sort of more at an angle. And I quite like these kind of style watches. I've had a couple of quartz versions of them in the past, and they're quite cool, but this is a 9000 series Miyota automatic. And it's like, well, that just elevates it for me as well. So I looked at it and I thought, well, not only do I like it, but it's very cool. The guy wanted $1,000 for it. Aussie dollars, so 700 US-ish or 650 US type thing. And I thought, oh, I do like that, but it's a little bit more than I want to spend. And then when I looked at them when they were new, he was asking a relatively high amount. And in his sales pitch, in his description, very good description, he actually said this was a limited release. It's no longer available. These don't exist anymore. You can't get them. It was part of his sales pitch on his description. And I messaged him. I gave him a lower offer, a fairly decent offer. I don't do lowball offers particularly. I try to give reasonable things. I even throw in a little bit of a reasoning why. Just bought lots of watches lately, can't quite justify that, blah, blah. And he came back and says, oh yeah, this is the only one on the market currently. You can't even buy them anywhere else. That's why the price is firm. So again, he sort of reiterated that it's a one-off or one-off available at the moment if you want one. So he was really utilizing that fear of missing out, because again, and then I got it. And I knew I got it because we were talking about what we're doing this episode today. And I was like, yeah, if this does sell, I can't get it. Or not until it comes up again, and it may or may not come up again. I don't know. But
yeah,
it's funny that leads into the example that I was going to use in this episode, and it relates to a Hamilton that I've been chasing for the past 12 months. And it's this very cool 10-year-old, somewhat limited release Hamilton at the time, the Hamilton Flint Ridge. It has this sort of cover over the dial which levers upwards. It's almost like a hunter case on a pocket watch type a bit. And I looked at them, and at the time they were selling from Hamilton their retail price for like $1,800 Australian dollars. But of course, that's the retail price. And so I looked a bit more, and I found that I think they released 1,000 of them. So it was limited, but not really that limited. And they couldn't sell them at the time. They ended up a lot of them went to the grey market dealers, and they were all over Joma Shop, and they were being sold for 800 Australian dollars. I thought, fantastic. That's an awesome watch. I love it. It's not too expensive. But every single one I've seen secondhand, they've also lent into these aren't available anymore. It's all limited release at the time, and they're selling it for $2,000 or $2,500 Australian dollars now.
Seeing one for 2.6K right now.
Yeah, and it's
wow.
They couldn't sell them when they were new. They all went. A lot of them went to Joma Shop and those things, which is fine. But it's not like it was a 10 release limited, and it's now completely unavailable. No. Yes, there may not be lots of them, but it's actually not a hugely desirable model, not when they were new, not even now, yet they're still kind of leaning into that. I still want one though. So I've got this feeling of, I want one, but there seems to be one coming out available secondhand every couple of months or so. So they do seem to be coming up. And I've actually tried a couple of times to buy it, but yeah, haven't quite got the price I want.
The price that you wanted, yeah. No, fair enough. It's interesting. This is slightly pivoting, but when you just mentioned about how when it was retailing, no one wanted it, and they were, selling it for discounts, right? They were selling it for a discounted price. Look at the Rolex Daytona. They were giving, there used to be a time when no one bought the Daytonas, or not as much, and they used to give a healthy discounts is what I heard. Not that I would know personally, but look at it now. Now it's like, from what I hear, you have to spend a lot of money and have a lot of time at a particular boutique to build up your sales in order to the purchase one. But it's just interesting how it sort of just flips and changes. I got another one, a Laurier Gemini, the first series in yellow. They had like a limited run. I think I've only ever seen like one or two come up for sale ever, and it was like 4x retail or something like that. It was insane. I was like, oh, no, like it's got a seagull movement in it. Nothing wrong with that. For like an ST1, was it the one in every single seagull watch, chronograph movement. Yeah. And I'm like, nah, I don't think I'm going to pay that much for that, even though it's really cool. So yeah, it is interesting, this whole thing about. Let me ask you, right? Do you feel like you have more enjoyment or interest if you have a special edition or a limited edition or a limited number watch?
In fact, it gives me a bit of an icky feeling personally. And I know that's me personally. I don't comment on anybody else's reason for liking things, as we all like things for different reasons. But I don't really. I don't mind limited editions if it's a variation, like it's hey, we're doing a bit of a funky dial or something but the watch essentially is the same. That I don't kind of mind because I can still get the normal watch if I want. But when they do these, we're only making 10 ever, and if you don't ever buy this, you're never ever going to have it. And the big brands do this, and smaller brands do this, and independents do this. But I know it's definitely a thing, because I had a very interesting conversation with a friend of ours from our Red Bar group at our last sort of meetup. Lovely guy, and he really loves his independent watches, and he has one of the most incredible independent watch collections ever. Yeah, lovely, lovely watches. His most recent purchase was the Armstrong. Is it Armstrong?
Armstrong, yeah.
It's my favorite model from that brand as well. It's got these 3 little bridges across the dial, and it's a very pretty watch. Because he's in that sort of circles of those things, and he got the email from Armstrong saying they're doing a limited release of 30 or 40 of those watches when they first were putting them out. And he said, "Well, I love that. Put my name down. I'm happy to pay the $30,000 or $40,000 the watch cost." A few months later, he then found out that there was a huge demand for them, so they decided to sell more. So there was no longer a 30-watch release. It was going to be a 100-watch release or a 120-watch release or something. And he went, "Well, no, one of the reasons why I bought it was because you said there was only going to be a small amount." He likes having a niche, small batch watches. It's one of the things that he really enjoys, of these, having something a bit different, having something a bit unique, having something not everybody has. So he cancelled his order. He said, "Nah, you literally sold me to say there was only going to be a small amount. And it was one of the reasons why I bought it. It was one of the reasons why I bought it so quickly." So he basically gave them the finger and cancelled his order. But then strangely enough, he saw it a year or so later in a shop, and he's bought it again anyway. But either way, he didn't.
Gravity equal force? Is that what it's called?
Is it that one? Let me Google it.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it's got those 3 beautiful looking watch.
I think that's what it is.
And I got to see it in person as well, and it was absolutely
the gravity
gorgeous.
Equal force. I mean, even if it's any of the other ones, yeah, just gorgeous watches. Yeah, I get that because you've been sold something on this premise, and then that changes. I think that's fair. If you then get told, no, it's no longer. Actually, you don't even have to go to a brand like Armstrong. Look at Seiko or Citizen, for example. They'll release a limited edition for this region, 300 watches only or 1,000 watches only. And then the very next year, they release something which is slightly different. Like the minute hand has a little darker color, or I don't know, little difference.
Think about what's the classic of that one at the moment? The Omega Swatch, the Moon Swatch. Wow, they're every little tiny variation of that one.
Milking it. Yeah.
Although I quite like the Snoopy one. That's kind of cool.
That is kind of cool. But it doesn't even have to be at that sort of lofty levels. Even you could buy something that go, yeah, this is limited edition Australian sub, was it the Alpinist, I remember
red
when
one?
the red one, when I remember when they came out, the very next day it was like sold out, or however long it took to sell out, it was already on eBay, like double the price, triple the price. Just like, man, like, that's Philippe's right. Yeah.
Meanwhile, your angle watch is double the price on Kurono 24. I looked at that today.
Is it?
$180, wow. I think they're asking.
Oh, there you go. So I do have a market if I do want to sell. No, just joking. I did laugh though, because I think I told you this last time as well, where I got asked already, when are you selling? So when are you going to sell it then? And I was like, well, no, I'm enjoying it for what it is now. So please don't. Oh yeah, it is $966.
But that's asking for it. That's not meaning they're selling it for them.
It's definitely a cool watch, but I don't know if it's quite double the price.
You're also not allowed to sell it before you lend it to me for a while.
That's true. You did say that. So no, I won't. So, what do we got next? What do I want to say next? Okay, question for you. If it's worse, if it's a limited production drop, so if it's like 50 pieces only, or if it's like a time window, you only have 48 hours to order, and then anything, if you miss out the window, that's it.
I personally like the limited time window. So like they can sell 10 or 10,000. It means that you're not going to miss out if you really want one. And it also gives the brand that opportunity to not have to pre-order things. It kind of, especially for small little brands where they can go, okay, well, I had 47 orders. I can order 50 to have a couple of spares or something if they want. But again, talking about our friend who had the limited things, his perspective, and certainly others, I'm assuming, wants the smaller amount because that makes it a bit more special. There's an element to the collecting. There's an element to that. I've got something special that others don't have, or not that you walk around and see many specific watches even that are well known anyway, unless they're really well known watches on anybody's wrists anymore. But
Submariner.
Yeah, and it's, so I wrist spot on TV all the time. There's only 3 watches I see. I see the F91, see the Submariner, and the Apple Watch. And it's like, what else is out there? Although saying that, I saw just before we jumped on one of those Lad Bible autocorrect interviews where they kind of it's like the top Google questions asked of stars and things.
Okay, sure.
And he was wearing a solid gold Nautilus.
Wow.
I was like, oh, that's a bit of money. But again, just another one of those watches which you see a lot, or the design anyway.
Yeah. Interesting. For me, I'm looking at a perspective of, I want to buy a watch. What's going to drive me to make this purchase decision is probably not the sooner rather than later, or to make that, loss aversion, or, scarcity is going away. It's probably the limited number than the window. So essentially, we're both saying the same thing. What I'm saying is, if the fear of missing out is going to definitely be more if it's that limited number as opposed to the limited time window. Because the time window gives you time. You can think about it a little bit more. 48 hours is still 48 hours. There's watches that get dropped, and within 30 seconds, within a minute or two, they get sold out, and people get frustrated. The amount of people that get super frustrated, they go, I can't believe I lost out on that. And I've been refreshing, and there's been bots, and, all that kind of claims comes out. Or the website crashes because it's got too many orders.
Or we live in a time zone that doesn't align with their drop. I'm not getting up at 2 a.m. Well, actually, I had once before go up at 2 a.m. to buy a watch.
What was that one?
It was an Islander watch, actually. It was... and
collaboration.
It wasn't worth waking up for.
There you go. It's ta-da! We've proven the point. I don't think I have bought something driven because it's a limited drop.
What about your ZLT? I know you bought that in a different manner, but they definitely have limited numbers, and then they never revisit them again.
Yes, it was numbered. It was 30. I picked the number that I wanted as well, which was cool. Well, I picked the second number that I wanted. The first one wasn't available. Would it have been any less cooler if it wasn't numbered? No, I don't think so. I think I would still enjoy it every little bit that I'm enjoying it right now, if it was numbered or not numbered.
If there was 30 or 1,000 of those, you're never going to see another one generally, unless you a
And a
circle
circle.
anyway.
I mean, funnily enough, there's one more of them in Perth, a different colorway. But yeah, but that's because we're just in the circles of watch collecting and watch collectors. So we know. But no, it wouldn't have. I can, hand on my heart and say, yeah, it doesn't make a difference if there's a number or a number. But I know that like people definitely get all up in arms about the numbered watches. I recently moved on a watch for a friend of the podcast, my best mate. He said, "Can you help me move on?" And I said, "Yeah, no worries. I'll do it for you. No worries." And it was a watch that was a limited run, so it was only a limited number of. I think it was like 88 pieces or something like that. Lucky number, I think. And I myself used that exact same scarcity model to sell that watch to my mate. I said, look, it was a limited time collaboration of only X number of pieces of sold. Here it is. And I had a couple of inquiries. And one of them said, what number is it? And I was like, oh, I don't know. I can have a look for you. What do you mean? What number it is? And, what number is on the back of it? And I said, oh, actually, it's not numbered on the back. It's numbered on the card. He said, oh, yeah, okay. Well, that doesn't really matter what number it is because it's not on the watch or whatever. But then I realized that this whole numbering thing, or it's number of maybe not. It's this many numbers, but it is X of this many numbers. I think that somehow has become very important to people. I think especially when you're collecting the sort of, I mean, it's not really a mass-made product, is it? When we're talking about these sort of more independent micro brands, they are limited runs. There's not a huge volume. There's not a huge customer base. And you're very much making, and like you said, the brands don't want to commit themselves to buy 1,000 pieces of something. They might, they want to build smaller runs. So you create exclusivity, but you're also, I don't know, it's like a hedged bet for the brand because you're like, yeah, I'm giving you guys this sort of scarcity exclusivity, but also it works for me because I'm still protected in a sense that as long as I sell this much, I'm good. I don't need to push myself so much, and I can take that money that I make and I can move on to the next model. Yes, sure, it's nice. I could sell more of this model because I know there's more people who would have wanted it, but it's okay because we'll do the same thing in the next model. I mean, Zelos, right? Zelos does this, right? They do it all the time. Yeah.
And most of the time it works. Some models tend to then sit around, which is interesting to see. But what I like about Zelos, even though they do these sort of limited kind of runs, is there's always then the next thing and then the next thing. And there's no real reason to circle back too often. Occasionally they do, but then they do a different version of it. And I actually quite like that rather than just it's always the same watch, but then we bring out a different dial color, but then we go back to the same watch and just keep moving forward. I don't think they're doing it specifically to create scarcity, though. They're just moving forward, but also creating a bit of desire to buy.
It does add a little bit of that scarcity, and even if it's not quite the plan to say, especially with the whole intro pricing thing. I think, like I said about Kickstarter,
that's the biggest thing for me. If I know I can save a couple $100 and it's a watch that I do like, it's not like I'm looking at these watches and go, I don't like it, but I'm going to miss out if I don't buy it. I'm only doing this when I really like a watch. But when you throw in, ooh, and I'm saving money, I guess my budget brain kicks in and going, ooh, a bargain. There's two things lined up.
Yeah.
Then I start walking over to my watch box and thinking, what can I sell?
I mean, you're being penalized financially if you think about it too long. That's what it is, right? If you think about it for too long, sorry, you snooze, you lose that introductory price. You can still get it tomorrow for $200 more or $150 more, but it doesn't feel as good, like, oh man, like I kind of, was there. I mean, I look back at, I'm just trying to think what watch, okay, I can't remember off the top of my head, but there was definitely a watch that I was like really keen on buying. And that's right, the humble SKX. I wanted an SKX. But at that time, I was like, I think SKX was still around. You can still buy them at retail and you can still buy them at pretty much the same price as they were normally retailing, or maybe just a little bit more because they had discontinued it at that point, but it was just discontinued. Or I could buy the 5KX that came out. So I knew how legendary the SKX was, probably not enough, but I also knew, 5KX,
sapphire crystal. It's got, actually, did that have sapphire? I don't think it did. Anyway, it was just a newer, shinier thing. And I was like, oh, I kind of like that. So I'll just buy this. And plus, I think the price was actually slightly cheaper because I got a good discount. So I ended up buying it. But then I think in like, I don't know, a couple of months' time, I was kicking myself because the SKX was like nearly double the price. And I was like, man, I should have bought it. And I was really kicking myself. But, eventually, whatever, you end up buying 10 other watches instead. And then, you forget about it. But it's like,
I'm very careful once I've bought a watch to try not to look at them again. Because I definitely find if I buy a watch now and I feel like I get the best price I can and I find it and I get it and say it's $1,000 and I love it and I think it's amazing, I think it's fantastic and I think I got it for a reasonable price, but then I find out a week later you can buy it for $500, it kind of ruins the watch a little bit. It shouldn't, but it just adds this little, which I don't want about a watch that I'm excited about. I don't need to throw any negative into it, so I'm very mindful to then not go back. And it's the other way around as well. Like I had the Saab 003, the Saab 03, yeah, and I bought that before it was discontinued, and I ended up selling it and making money on it. But then a year later, I could have sold it, made a lot more money on it. But that's okay. Just I enjoyed the watch, and it is what it is. Try not to look backwards.
Yeah. Oh man. Saab 33, same thing. I was looking at that, and I was like, it was a 33 or 35, the cream one. Can't remember. I said 35.
35.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, well, that I should get it. Again, it was all like just as I started and collecting. That's kind of when all these watches were still, floating around and not at some ridiculous prices. And then, I come back and it was all like, oh, I should have bought it.
You've not owned one of those?
I've never owned a Saab. Believe it or
man,
not.
You'd love them. I mean, you would love it.
I know.
It's like, you would love it.
I know, but then I've experienced other watches that are basically, look, Erebus Ascent, right? There's a lot of Saab in there. To be fair, I have a, Grand Seiko SPGX 261 that is, an elevated version. Has a lot of similar stylings. 87mm fits me better. A high active support, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I feel like I don't need that anymore. I've been there, done that. Not really, but I don't need that anymore. Yeah.
If you're into microbrand and independent watches, which you clearly are as you're listening to this podcast, you got to check out Watchpoint. Watchpoint is the newest destination in Melbourne, Australia for microbrand and independent watches. But it's more than just a brick and mortar store. It's a hub for watch enthusiasts. Come check out brands such as HZ, Bazel, Second Hour, RZE, and Montbray, and other exciting watches you won't find anywhere else. Watchpoint is also your go-to website for buying said watches, exploring microbrand profiles, discovering new releases, and staying informed with editorials, industry insights, and buying guides. So if you're keen on trying out your favorite microbrand watches, drop into Shop 304, Level 3, the Block Arcade on Collins Street, or visit watchpoint.com.au or check them out on Instagram at watchpoint.au for more.
I did want to, give some examples of some watches that have been released recently and how they use these concept of the scarcity model. And the first one is actually a one that we did talk about recently, the Fears Brunswick, which was a British Watchmaker Day special. And then there was also a Studio Underdog that was released on that day as well. And I think it was called the Guava. Have you seen that one yet?
Oh, did they actually end up releasing one on? Because they didn't pre-release it, did they?
No, they didn't. They took it up to the next level, right? In all the British Watchmaker Day watches, you had to be there, right, to go and buy the watch. So that already is you're adding that scarcity, right? And people want that more. Like I think the Fears and Studio Underdog collaboration the previous year, I think was it called the Mimosa or something? Apparently people were lining up the entire day. No, they didn't go there and look around. They didn't go there and check out the other brands or the watches or anything like that. they spent their entire day lining up to buy this watch. And guess what? Some people didn't get it. Man, that is like serious FOMO. You're really playing on that. So this, you're talking about your, limited runs or whatever, but that's like, serious FOMO. And also, like, don't you think, I don't know what you think about it, but it's like an additional level for someone like us or someone who is not in the UK. We're not there. We don't have access to that watch unless you're at the event.
I actually slightly prefer that model for events versus super limited runs. I still think it's a shame, and if it's something that I really wanted, I'd be upset. But I sort of like the idea, if they're going to do a limited special edition, to do it for a physical event, if they're going to do that. Like, I don't love it, but if they're going to do it, I would prefer
you should do
that.
It this way. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
But I'm just looking at Studio Underdog, and wow, they're really running with their. I didn't know they had so many models of their, their watermelon. There's a rotten egg. There's a boiled egg. There's a fried egg. They've gone for it with their different versions of that. There's a champagne and caviar. I was like, oh, I just thought there was the watermelon and the pizza. Apparently not.
No. And they're crazy partners, right? They sell a lot of watches. A lot of,
yeah. I'm really pleased for them. I wish more brands had their success, especially smaller brands. And it's nice to see a brand who's having fun with their designs having success.
Yes. I mean,
it feels like they're having a lot of success compared to others, but it'd be nice if others also, but I'm very pleased for them.
You get that, right? You get the whole, certain brands become media darlings and some brands don't. Yeah. And that's always interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I find that the whole, you not being there physically, you're on the other side of the world and you miss out on something that you're like, I really do like that watch. And then it's like, well, yeah, that's fine. You can buy it secondhand, double the price next year. Like,
I don't like.
That annoys me. That really annoys me. And that's fully, like, I mean, props to the brands, right? Fully leaned into this whole scarcity model. And it's like, yeah, well, if you want it, you got to, and I guess the brand doesn't take the earnings there, they double the price or whatever someone else is going to sell it for later. But I think the interesting thing is bigger brand, like, for example, the certified pre-owned and stuff. You see I think Toyota does it, and even, Rolex and all that do that. It's like, you want a brand new watch of whatever model. Sorry, you're going to have to go on a wait list and, you'll see when you get it. But hey, if you want that watch, I do have it pre-owned just here. You can get it pre-owned and it costs like, I don't know, 10K more or whatever, 5K more. Like,
I don't see how they can do it. I get flippers doing it or somebody.
Toyota does it,
but not the actual ADs and things. But they do. They're going, well, here's the Submariner, which you can't buy for 10 grand, but here's a second-hand one for 20 grand. You can get that now, though. Like, sorry, what? No, I think there should be a rule that you can't sell a watch second-hand for more than the retail price. Because hey, if you buy a watch and you keep it for however long and you get your money back, that's awesome. You shouldn't be making money on watches. Certainly not. Yeah. So not anybody in general. I think it just in general, but yeah, certainly not ADs. It feels. Imagine going to a car yard. You're going to buy the new Toyota Hilux. It's like, oh, that's 20 grand. Oh, we don't have any available. You have to wait 6 months. Or you can buy the second one here. This is 40 grand.
James, that happened. That actually did happen. Yes. So Toyota's got their own certified pre-owned, and I'm pretty sure they've all gone this model because they know the demand is high, and they know that they have secondhand stuff, fleet models, whatever, and they can sell it for a pretty elevated price.
Over there was a push for it. It was a bit.
I think that was when it was. Yeah, so it's kind of like they've already made the money selling it at retail, and now they're going to make a margin on top of that. So it's insane. Anyway,
insane.
Yeah. There is another model that I wanted to talk about, which is the new Kurono Tokyo divers. Have you seen that?
Google it now. Try not to make too much noise so the microphone doesn't pick up.
It is just insanely weird, if I'm being honest. Like, it's cool, but also a bit strange. So it's a 35mm cushion case watch. It looks like a standard cushion case watch. But then it sits, you put on this,
Inside?
yeah, like a diving case that goes on top. Yeah. Okay. And it's like 46mm.
Is it like, it's basically two watches in one? Is that kind of what they're going?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. Yeah. Sort
Because
of.
it looks a little bit like the Fuse as a Brunswick kind of case.
Yes. So, I mean, it's a cushion case, right? It's a cushion case, except then you put this thing on it and then it becomes a diver. Yeah. And it's 46mm. So you can go from, hey, I'm just going in the office. I'm doing officey things. So, I'm ready to dive. Let me put it in my case and go for a
And
dive.
it's a proper screw-on case back, which gives you the water resistance. It comes with the tool to put it in there. Oh, you put it in via the front. So it's front-loaded.
Yeah. It's called,
This thing is bonkers.
Extra super duralumin, which is, I don't know what that is. So it's the bezel and that's the bezel, and apparently it's like super cool, super legible underwater. Yeah, so
And that's what they're asking for.
So this is what I want to talk about. So this is the Scarcity model. It is madness. So you can't buy it. You got to supply an expression of interest.
I was just looking at that. You got to apply for it.
You got to apply for it, and not only that. Now, I don't know whether it's made sort of clear on the watch. Let me have a look. But I read somewhere that, and Kurono Toko's got a bit of a history in sort of odd sales things. I think they've sold a watch before in the past where they sold to women only. Again, I sort of saw what they were trying to do, but it was executed oddly. And this is another one which is executed oddly. It's, you gotta, put in an expression of interest. And then apparently the ballot prioritizes certified divers.
I just read that. I guess they're creating a dive watch. They want divers to... How many people do you think are going to go diving with this watch?
Slim to none. Well, I think if you're a proper diver, you're probably diving in a Garmin or something. I mean, not Garmin, a proper dive computer nowadays. You're not diving in.
I've used a computer since I was like 22, so that was a long time ago.
You just gave away your age. But yeah, and even if you did have a dive watch, that's your secondary, and you're not going to wear this. Yeah. So now only you've made a Scarcity model where you have to put in an expression of interest, which I do like understand, like big brands do that, right? You go in, watch the Switzerland, and you put in, I want an AP on a Patek, or I'll put in an expression of interest, and maybe you might, whatever. But they're doing that. But they're not only doing that, they're saying, okay, but we're not going to prioritize you, Mr. Praka, who doesn't dive. We're going to prioritize James, who is a certified diver, which he is, actually. He's nodding. Creates a hierarchy, right? So it
literally says, kindly provide the relevant details of your diving certification. This helps with prioritization. But then it goes on to say, you're going to receive an email between the 13th and 16th of March. And if you don't monitor your inbox, then you'll end up not getting the watch, and you need to pay by the 16th. Otherwise, it'll be given to the next person. This seems like a lot of effort to buy a watch.
It is a lot of effort, but also like, the whole Scarcity model of this is like, you need to earn this, and it's very exclusive too. Like, you don't just get one. You gotta be in this, like, you gotta be in this. You gotta have a PADI license or whatever, and then you can apply for one, and then you can pay us $2,700, and then you can get. It's all a bit crazy actually. But this sort of, I think, really sums up this whole, the trap. You're like, oh, I need one. It's so exclusive.
But there's people who are going to have that and then like it more because of that. I guess it would make for a good story if you're at a Red Bar event or something. They'll say, what's that watch on your wrist? And you go, well, let me tell you the story.
Let me tell you. Which is insane. Applicants with recreational or better diving certifications. See,
hey, I'm a dive master, so I'd be pushed up the list.
Exactly. But that's so funny. Anyway, this just blew my mind. I mean, not only is it a bonkers watch, like you said, the whole model around the sale, it just makes it even more crazier. So yeah, anyway, those are the ones that I just wanted to give as examples. It is prevalent in microbrands. I mean, it's even prevalent in, look at the moon swatches. You know, they release this special moon phase strawberry edition only in the Swatch Rome shop or whatever. Nowhere else. You can only get it in this shop. I mean, and soon after they were all on eBay for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 10 times the price. But besides that, again, yeah, that whole creating that model, I mean, it works, right? That's what brands keep using, and we keep going back to it. Like, we can't stop buying watch drops. Just we're, I don't know, we're stuck. We got a disease.
Well, yeah, there's a problem in general when it comes to watches for me anyway. But when you add then this to it, I'm thankful that I haven't been caught up in it too much, but I've definitely felt the need to buy something because of these drops, these ideas. It's generally just the budget that's stopped me a lot of the time, and then I've been thankful that I've not bought it. Not that I wouldn't have enjoyed it or liked the watch, but I just probably had that feeling of, well, no, I didn't need that one.
But you're a responsible adult. That's why you're like, do I want to spend this money on this, or I've got something else that I need to spend my money on. Yeah, that stops me a lot of times as well.
Yeah, but then you forward me marketplace listings of a watch that then I have a whole day of contemplating, oh my God, I think I want to buy this watch. I'm still thinking about it.
Apologies. Yeah, I do enable people a lot. So yeah, apologies. I mean, look, this whole podcast is a bit of enabling, right? I swear I've had a couple of people contact me personally saying, hey, I bought this watch that you talked about, which is pretty awesome, actually. Kind of good feeling. Like, oh,
it's kind of good.
I'm glad you did.
I got a lot of comments on the videos. Yep, I bought that. I think that Roland Turbine Pilot watch that I have, I think I've sold hundreds of those, or not. I haven't actually sold them. I think I've caused hundreds of sales of those watches.
They are super cool. I just wish they were a little bit smaller for my dainty wrists, but they are super cool. Well, look, I didn't really have a whole bunch more that I wanted to talk about today, and we're sort of nearing the end of our nominal recording time. Let's move on to something interesting section of the podcast, I guess. What's interesting for you today?
Well, I'm excited about another new purchase that I made because I'm about to go on another watch video trip to go make some more videos about watches whilst traveling and things. I'm heading over to Melbourne. And I know my last trip that I did, I was very careful with trying to get some new equipment and not overly spend too much money, but be sort of set up. But the bag that I had was a nightmare because it was just stuff packed on top of stuff, packed on top of stuff with all the things I was trying to get out, cameras and lights and stands and bits and pieces that I use. Nothing particularly professional, but it works out. So I ended up buying myself a camera bag, and it's cool. It's got this weird little, like, it's a backpack, but it's the bit that actually touches your back. There's a big open zipper area, so it's sort of protected. You can't access it unless you go from the inside. And it's all subdivided into little sections, and you can move them around, and I don't know. I'm excited about a bag, and that's probably the first time I've ever been excited about a bag before. And it's really comfortable too.
Oh, I'm glad it is, because a lot of those sort of harder shell bags, they can be not as quite comfortable. I'm actually in the market myself for a not that kind of bag. I think I told you about it, but some sort of, like, I've got to speak to Eddie. He is the man for anything EDC. Whatever you want EDC, you speak to him. Bags, pens, knives, all that jazz. He's the man for that. Actually, I don't know about knives. You might not know about. And Kish. Kish is also very good at the top. So cool. Well, I hope it serves you well when you're on your trip.
I hope so. I've even put my 2 tripods in the sides because obviously it's designed for that stuff. So it's actually got the right pockets for everything. And I've got this new little camera, this sort of travel camera, which has a self-stabilizing gimbal in it as well, which I've shown you. Yes. And I'm going to mount it on the shoulder strap so I can actually walk around with it. And that seems to work quite well with it as well. So I think it's going to be like an all-in-one system.
That's really cool. Nice. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to maybe you might be able to take photos with your bag and carrying your bag. It's like, check out my new bag. Yeah. Very nice.
Walk past the window and go, check out the bag.
Yeah, check out the bag. A reflection of the light. Nice.
What about yourself? What do you got going on that you've found interesting this week?
Well, hey, this is what have I found interesting this week? Yeah, okay. So I started watching the animation Avatar, The Last Airbender back again. I don't know if, I mean, I know it's a kid show or whatever, but I really like it. It was a show that I watched a long time ago when I was a lot younger. And then I rewatched it again, maybe about 8 years ago. 8 years ago. Yeah, something like that. And then about 10 years ago. And then my son started watching it again. And he sort of, and then I sat down to watch it. And you know what? This is actually pretty cool. I know it's, more for kids, but I don't know. It's a nice little, I don't know, nice little animation and show. And I don't know if have you ever seen it, Avatar?
I've watched the live action one they came out with last year or the year before.
The
I've
Netflix
watched them.
show. Yeah,
I quite like
that
that.
was that was awesome. The live action one was great. My son's just a little bit too young to watch that one, so we watched the animation one. And I know season 2 of the live action one is coming out soon, so I'm looking forward to that. So this got
Yeah, I
me
quite like it.
watching this got me hyped up to the live action one. I was like, oh sweet. So I mean, if anyone hasn't watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, like the anime or the animation, which probably isn't that many people around the world. I feel like a lot of people have watched it. Go check it out. And also check out the live action one, which is great. And
Yeah, I really liked it. It was good.
nothing like the live action movie that was made many years ago, which was terrible.
I saw that too, yeah.
Yeah, let's not talk about that one. That was bad.
Speaking of watching things, I'll add one more thing. I watched that, is it War Machine? Just out on Netflix recently. Have you seen
No.
War Machine?
No.
It's the actor from Reacher, that TV show.
Yes,
him.
Alan
Rickman.
Rickman. Yes.
If you haven't seen this movie, it's worth watching, and I describe it as it's a mix between the movie Full Metal Jacket, which is an older movie now, but if you ever seen it, which then transitions into War of the World.
Wow. Okay. I mean, it's got some pretty decent reviews.
I really liked it. I
Okay.
thought it was good.
You thought it was good.
Definitely worth a watch. It's one of the better movies I've watched recently.
Yeah, I like Alan Richardson. He's actually a really good actor. He's got range.
He's good.
What was that show I watched? He was like a comedian in it. It's like a high school comedy thing. It was terrible. It was terrible. Blue Mountain State. That's it. It was an awful show, but it was good for the time. And then you see him rebranded as an action hero, and you're like, wow, you're a comedian. You're an action hero now.
Well, interestingly enough, like I mentioned that Lad Bible auto cue test thing, whatever earlier. That was Alan Rickman. It was him. It was him on it. Talk. It was interesting. He went from being a model to an actor to a. But yeah, I like him, especially in Reacher. I like that show. That's a good show.
I do like Reacher too. He's an AP ambassador as well. Is he?
He was the one wearing the gold AP, the Royal Oak.
There you go.
That's probably why he was wearing it then.
No, I don't know if it actually is an ambassador or not. I think he's just wearing one because he's also got a Breitling. Yeah, he's wearing a Breitling here in one of the other movies. Don't know what. Interesting. We should do a celebrity watch time thing if anyone's interested. Might be one. Maybe Microbrands. I don't know.
I'd really love to see like a well-known person just wear some Microbrand stuff, because I guess not that they need to, because they can afford to wear things.
There's a whole other thing, but we'll leave that one for the next one.
We'll have to look into that a bit more.
Yeah, there we go. How's that little cliffhanger? We'll leave that for the next episode.
Maybe leave some comments or send us some messages about stars that you know, or people that are famous, or some interesting people anyway. They don't have to be Hollywood people. That are wearing interesting watches.
Yes, that would be awesome. Yeah, send us in. Yeah, and like always, shoot us a message on Instagram, on email. I haven't really got much email ones, but man, Instagram. Hit up James on YouTube. Have a chat with us.
Leave a comment on one of my videos at any time. I respond to all my comments on the videos, and
I
certainly read them all.
Yeah, so we'd love that. We'll love that, and want to know, what you think about it. And yeah, do the whole. I don't ask this often, but do the whole 5 stars sharing and whatnot. It does help to reach new audiences, and hopefully they can get to enjoy it as much as you do. So, yeah.
It helps them reach out to brands as well and get owners on involved in the podcast. It's so interesting to then, especially the ones I've listened to from you, talking to some interesting people. And the more the podcast grows, the more people you can then speak to, and works out well for everybody.
Exactly. So I think we've got bit of sneak peek. Definitely have 2 locked in, if not 3, coming up soonish, and another couple sort of finalizing when. I won't say much more than that. We'll leave you with that note. If there's nothing else, we'll leave it right there. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Thank you for listening to Overtime the Podcast. I hope you enjoyed the episode. You can find us on our Instagram at Overtime the Podcast, at Kinda Average Watches, or flick me an email on overtimethepod@gmail.com. I appreciate your support and value your feedback. If you have any questions, suggestions, or topics that you would like the podcast to cover in the future, please hit us up. Until next time.